Oh, boy. That was a drive. A long drive. Wet, damp. It was just gloomy on the way home. And it felt like today was an extra long day. Listen, I love my job. Don't get me wrong. Very, very happy with what I do. I was in that building today from 2:45 up until I guess I left at like 11:30, maybe 11. I guess 11 is when I left. So, what is that? That's like is that 8 hours in that building? And just to explain why I was there so long, I was doing a couple of UFC interviews, which I'm very excited to come out this week. Max Holloway, first time getting a chance to speak with him. I think it is. Maybe I talked to him one time back in Fighters Fury, but was very excited to talk to the former featherweight champion today. But that was about the peak of my day. I got to be honest with you because it's this was another swift kick in the junk. I will get off. Just let's get off of out of the gate with saying not surprising, right? Like this heat season has been I don't even feel like a roller coaster is the appropriate ride for it. It's more like it's more like you remember go to that carnival, the Viking ship that would just go whoop, whoop, whoop. It's like just a swinging pendulum back and forth, and you always were a little creeped out with how the carnies were eyeballing that Viking ride if it was gonna be safe or not, and every time you kind of had the tires on the bottom, was it gonna catch you in the right way? So that's what this heat season's been like. So I can't sit on this channel here today, and I won't sit on the radio tomorrow, or I guess technically later today, and say that I'm surprised that the Miami Heat lost to the Atlanta Hawks. I'm supremely disappointed they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. I mean, this has been a team that they had handled throughout the season, and granted, they had been trending offensively in a good spot with Quinn Snyder, who is a really good coach. But ultimately, they were a 500 team this year. You were a little bit better than a 500 team. Honestly, your wins over them is the difference in record this year, is it not? And the first thing out of the gate that's disappointing, because there were many disappointing parts about tonight's game, was you come out of the gate and you build a brick house. They outscore you 36-27. And you're just thinking to yourself, how, again, with the Miami Heat essentially having playoffs in hand, do they come out this flat? And I think that has been the thing all season that has been mind-numbingly frustrating to Heat fans, is that you will show these games, or you will show flashes of talent and brilliance this year in big-time matchups against teams that I guess the Heat seem to think are worthy of their effort, and they will play balls to the wall on the road in tough situations. But man, if you give them an element of you guys got this, they will always disappoint you this year. Like 10 times out of 10, if you expect the Miami Heat to just do what you think they're supposed to do, they will go, aha, no, we won't. So for them to come out of the gate and be outscored, not surprising. And I will say, like, I was asked, many a times tonight, like, whoa, what do you think is going to happen, Tobes? I'm the worst person to ask about this stuff, as has been echoed on many platforms. I am Wild Heat Coyote. I will always believe in the Heat. They will always have my trust. They will always have my support. And I will just end up being disappointed in the end. I think the difference with this year, maybe in past years, is that, I'm not going to be, if this thing does come to an end on Friday, I will not be surprised, because this is what the year has been. It has been a herky-jerky whirlwind of with some, fairly cool moments, but there really hasn't been, like, I think we can all say in the landscape, this hasn't been a very enjoyable season. So I'm being asked around tonight, and, by some media members, and they're just like, I don't know if I have a great feeling about it tonight. I don't know if you guys want me to say who it is, although you guys probably say it on your platform. So I don't want to. If I hear it on otherwise, if I listen back on your podcast, then I'll expound on it later. But yeah, I just thought that it wasn't even like the Atlanta Hawks, the Trae Young thing. I know there was a lot of the Trae Young drama was hanging all over this. Trae Young was literally fighting his coach in the game, although that coach, I guess, turned out to be Nate McMillan's son. So I guess I understand why they hate each other. But to lose this thing on basically second chance points is crazy to me. Like, you're telling me that if you look around the stat sheet and you're like, all right, did Atlanta shoot a crazy number? Nope. Built a Burke house from downtown tonight, as did you. Okay, must have been a big free throw discrepancy, right? Something crazy like that. Nope, made the exact amount, same amount of free throws. Must have got a monster game from Trae Young then, right? 25 points, not what that's below his is that not below his season average? It is. So, not a monster game from Trae Young. It's like, no. You're going to go look and you're going to see those mother rebounds, and you're going to look at the mother second chance points, and you're going to say, Jesus, really? That's where you lose the game in a 20-point swing on second chance points. I think it was 26-6, I think is what the score was today. If I recall the final box score, I'll get that here for a second. 26-6 is what I think the number ended up being on second chance points. Just absolutely throttled on the glass tonight. Every bounce, everything Atlanta went and earned tonight. Everything. And Tyler Hero talked about this too, because Spo, I'll play a couple comments here for everybody. Because Spo was like, I didn't feel like it was an effort thing. I felt like it was I felt like the ball was going somewhere. And yes, I, to a degree, know some of the possessions he's talking about. It's like, yeah, I could see it. But there was also plenty where, like, you guys were just in bad position, or you weren't set up right, or they just boxed your ass out, or Jalen Johnson was just jumping over everybody with just the height of athleticism and just dunking it on your face, so it wasn't all weird bounces. And so here was the coach after the game.
I thought we defended, fairly well, particularly in the last 5 minutes of the second quarter on through the second half. We just were not able to come up with, those finishing rebounds. And it was kind of a mix, a highlight film gone bad of either missed blockouts, bobbled balls, tip balls, or two guys there, and they were able to just come up with the rebound. And if they did come up with the rebound, they also were able to turn those into scores.
So, Tyler Hero was told about these comments afterwards. I actually thought I liked Tyler's explanation of it all, where he was just like, yeah, I mean, like, I see what he's saying, but ultimately you got your ass kicked. Like, you got killed in the glass.
Yeah, I mean, the ball was bouncing their way literally the whole game. But that's not, any type of excuse to why we couldn't rebound the ball. I mean, they beat the hell out of us on the glass. Like, it wasn't even close. So we can point fingers, do whatever. At the end of the day, they beat the hell out of us on the board, and that's what it is.
And Jimmy echoed these sentiments.
We definitely got to start out better. That's been a problem of ours all year long, and it's just another day that's happened. And rebounding was just horrendous. We didn't put body on body, and they got all the rebounds, all the second chance points, and that was the game.
I agree.
So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like, Clint Capella tonight finished with 21 rebounds. 21 rebounds for Clint Capella. 8 offensive boards for him tonight. 8 offensive boards from Clint Capella. Crazy. Just keeping possessions alive. And that's the thing that was the killer about it, because it's not just when you have situations like that and you're the Heat and you already got yourself in a hole. And I think that what was the closest they got it to? 5? Was it? I think it was 5. Maybe it was 6. Who can remember? Who cares, right? But you get these runs together and you get the stop essentially, and you can't get the damn basketball. And so then you give them more life to make up for their original mistake, and you're already doing this while behind the 8 ball of what what the game started off as. So just unbelievably disappointing. Your 2 big dogs didn't really show up tonight on offense, and Bam and Jimmy. Bam is getting hammered on social media. I'll get to that clip in just a second, but he's getting absolutely crushed for this getting him the ball statement that he said after the game. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, but Jimmy was 6 of 19 from the floor tonight, and yeah, he got to great. Jimmy got to the free throw line, but if you wanted to say this was playoff Jimmy, this was a more of a cheap knockoff of that. This was not, this guy today was not the version of the man we have seen play the all. There were plenty of stuffages at the rim with him. 6 of 19 from the floor. Just not a good game from Jimmy. It wasn't, not to the best of his capabilities. And you look at his box score and you'll say like, he had 21 points, 9 assists. I think we could all say that Jimmy Butler against Atlanta, you're looking for a little bit more from this. But then, the big elephant in the room on this is Bam, because you look at him tonight and there's just nothing that really flashed. It's like, okay, he finished with 12 points. Got to the free throw line. What did he shoot? 4 free throws tonight. So kind of ho-hum there. Got 9 rebounds. Not a bad number. Not 21. So like the guy who's playing his position on the court is doubling his output. And I think the thing that's crazy about it is, Clint Capella did that, and Clint played 28 minutes. Bam played 41, which is, hand in hand one of the problems there, really, because they don't have anybody else who can play his position. I mean, Spo was so quickly rats off his shit. I don't know what Spo was doing early in this game, because like the thing that was crazy about it, we kept talking about going into this, like, well, what is this game? Is this a playoff game? What is the play-in supposed to be, right? And you don't really quite know, but Spo definitely felt like he was playing desperate, because you get off to this terrible start. Kevin Love, who, seemed to be finding his footing. I get it. It's a very athletic team. He's not fleet of foot, but he can rebound the basketball. I mean, that was a big deficiency tonight, and Spo played him 3 minutes, and didn't put him back in. Was just like, I'm done with Kevin Love. I'm done. And then all of a sudden, Victor Oladipo, it's like, Victor Oladipo's out there. It's like, wait, what? Now Victor Oladipo's playing all of a sudden? The only thing that could have shocked me more is if you had Duncan Robinson, waltz out of there. But of course, Duncan Robinson didn't play tonight. So you had essentially the backup bigs, and Cody Zeller and Kevin Love both played a total of 7 minutes tonight. And you had Bam play the rest of the game. And Bam just kept getting into these situations where he was like switching out on their ball handlers. And so nobody was in on the paint. And it's just like, I don't know how. I get it. Like, Bam's a super freak with his versatility, but it's like you don't have anybody else on that floor taller than 6'6". I get, sometimes you'll have Jimmy out there. What's Jimmy, 6'7"? So like you're getting these tarantulas and Okongwu and Jalen Johnson and John Collins and Clint Capella, and they're all there just with their giant tarantula arms, and Kyle Lowry's like in the paint trying to get the rebound, or Max Strus is there trying to get the rebound, and they're fumbling the ball all over the place because Bam was trying to go stop somebody out on the wing. And I just think it's all just a jumbled up mess. And I think it just kind of speaks overall to what this year has been, which is like, man, they really just did not put the pieces together in the right way for this team at all, to run it back the same way. But, look, Spo says, like, they're going to try and regroup and get ready for this game on Friday, which will either be against the Raptors or the Bulls. Neither team they've played particularly well this year. And then the other big piece of thing that's getting a lot of people pissed off afterwards, since I'll get to this, since this seems to be getting a lot of anger out of Heat Twitter, but Bam was asked by Brady Hawk from 5 Reasons after the game. He was asked about the double teams that he's facing on the pick and roll, and he had these comments about, we have to figure out a way. This is what he had to say. He says, here's the clip.
Man, this is a team that's thrown a lot of doubles to you on the roll and kind of just packed the paint in that range. Do you feel like it threw off the offense in a way in some of those stretches?
Yeah. And, we just got to figure out a way to, get me the ball. Other than that, some of the guys had it going. So we have to figure out how we can keep them going and also get me involved.
And I got to say, like, as an admitted Bam apologist, I love the guy. I love his makeup as a player. I love his attitude on typical. Like, I just knew as soon as that came out of his mouth, I'm just like, all right, well, that's not going to be, I don't feel like that's going to be received well, because I think people are going to look at this and they're going to say, hey, man, first of all, didn't really feel like you had that, like, get up and go from an aggression standpoint. Felt like Bam was getting the ball. Now he did set up Kyle Lowry for some nice stuff. They had a little bit of a chemistry going. I should mention, Kyle Lowry was a killer today. He was an absolute monster. I mean, it's crazy to think that the guy who was the most scrutinized player by Heat fans by a long shot this year, people wanted him off the team, and the guy nearly, willed everything himself today. He was an absolute monster, and to his credit, he did call his shot earlier in the week and talked about that he was ready for more responsibility and minutes, and he killed it today. Now, they'll need it again, I assume, on Friday. But, when Bam is going to the rim and Okongwu is basically stopping him midair, tying him up for a jump ball, you had your chances there. He had some bunnies that he missed today that were, like, right there. He'd get an offensive rebound, put it up, couldn't get it in. He had a hook shot in the paint, brick. Didn't seem to have the confidence in his jump shot tonight until the game was very, very much over to, I think, get himself to 12 points. So I don't know, man. Like, I don't think I'm not saying that with Bam. I'm sure there's frustration in that, like, maybe him making everybody else comfortable in favor of him getting all the shots that he wants or whatever is taking a back seat. There's clearly something that has been off since the All-Star break. Like, this guy is not the same player that went to Salt Lake City. He has not been as aggressive. He has not been feeling himself as much. And yeah, he's taking a lot of heat from Heat Nation that, this is a big time moment. And we had a game where we got crushed on the boards, couldn't stop anybody, and you didn't score any buckets. Like, and you're a max player. And all of that stuff comes with the responsibility when it's like when Kyle Lowry's taking all the heat because he was, couldn't stay on the court in the fourth quarter. Now, Bam's on the court. They literally cannot take him off the court. And that's like part of the problem. They literally can't take him off the court. Now, should Spo have had such a quick leash on Kevin Love today? I guess he was feeling the desperation of the game. The game was a 9-point game at one point. It got to 20-4. So, desperate times. I get it. But to, completely go away from him in the third quarter, they did make a tight run. I get it. There's a flow of game, but it's tough to look at that and you're just like, well, when does he ever get to rest? Like, you got him flying all over the place. trying to stop Trae Young, stop DeJounte Murray, stop DeAndre Hunter. Can somebody close out on Saddiq Bey? How many times is Saddiq Bey going to go out here and torch the Miami Heat? I mean, how many times do we have to sit here and watch Saddiq Bey put up buckets on the Miami Heat before it'll get through somebody's skull that Saddiq Bey is going to do something? It's crazy to me. Sit here all the time like, hey, Saddiq Bey's out there. If he's a Piston, if he's a Hawk, doesn't seem to matter. So, whatever, dude. That's a lot of rambling from old Tobes tonight. I have more stuff to do on this on the radio show, so watch us. Whenever you do watch this, go watch the Tobin and Leroy show, either on demand or watch it live. And I guess we'll be there Friday for whatever. We'll go there for whatever. There's going to be the season finale or the ticket to take on the Bucks.